everyone, welcome to my very first guitar tutorial. Today we're going to be learning how to play I Want to Kill You by the band called Citizen. So this video is comprised of two components, each component being how to play the guitar parts for both of the guitars. So the first guitar part is panned to the left of the song, and the second guitar part is panned to the right of the song. So before we go any further, I would like to talk about the tuning that you need to be in for both guitar parts. You're going to want to be in standard tuning, which is E, E, A, D, G, B, E, if you don't know already. Also, another thing I would like to say is the tone for this particular guitar part, the first guitar part. You're going to want to have a slight crunch distortion for this, as opposed to a much harsher distortion, which would be like this. See, that's a little too harsh on the ears. So what I like doing is to have a bit of a softer crunch to this guitar part. Much more subdued. Also, another thing is, what I like doing is to have a bit more of a focus on the bass notes for this guitar, and the way I do that is to use the neck pickup, and I just use the switch right here on this guitar. I don't know if your guitar is gonna have the switch or not, but most likely you will. So let's get started to the tabs of this song. So before we begin, I would like to explain the song structure here. We have the main riff, the chorus, main riff again, chorus again, bridge, solo, chorus, and then the ending. This song is also in a 4/4 time signature and 150 beats per minute. So let's get started. So the main riff contains 3 notes. They are the 1st fret on the low E string, the 6th fret on the low E string, and the 6th fret on the A string. So the first 6 bars of the main intro, the main focus is on the 6th fret of the low E string, and you're going to want to slide in from the 1st fret of the low E string up to the 6th fret of the low E string. So like this. Now we start the riff over again, and then it continues like normal. So the main riff doesn't really do this 6-bar thing again throughout the song, only when it first comes into the song. So after we play the first 6 bars, the riff continues like normal. So notice we did that for 2 bars, and then we go to the 1st fret of the low E string. Another 2 bars, and now we go to the 6th fret of the A string. Now, on the 2nd bar of hitting this 6th fret on the A string, the very last note is going to be that slide into the 6th fret of the low E string. And that's when the riff starts over again. So how does this whole thing sound all together? It sounds like this. Now, there's a slight variation of this later on in the song, but I'll get into that when we get to it. So to get into the chorus, there is a slight addition to the main riff, and it goes like this. It's the 6th fret on the A string, and you're hitting it for 2 bars, and I'm going to count it along as I'm playing it. So it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So within those 2 bars, I'm hitting this 6th fret on the A string 16 times. So how does this sound along with the main riff? I'll play it for you. Now let's get into the chorus. So before I get into the tab of the chorus for this guitar part, I do want to talk about the chords that are present here. So we have a B flat minor, C sharp major, F sharp major, back to B flat minor, C sharp major, G sharp major, F sharp major. So now the interesting thing here is that this chord progression is kind of split into 2 parts. They're split into guitar 1 and guitar 2, each guitar playing basically half of the chord. So the first two chords of the chorus comprise of two power chords. So you're gonna want to have the your index finger on the 6th fret of the E string, your ring finger on the 8th fret of the A string, and your pinky on the 8th fret of the D string. Now the second chord, you're gonna want to slide all the way up by 3 frets, same shape. So it's gonna be the index finger on the 9th fret of the E string, ring finger on the 11th fret of the A string, and pinky on the 11th fret of the D string. Okay, I just lost a bunch of footage, have to redo the next couple of minutes of this video. So picking up where we left off, as I mentioned earlier, the progression of this chorus is B flat minor, C sharp major, and then we go to F sharp major. However, instead of doing another power chord here, something interesting happens. This guitar part singles out these two notes, which are 11 on the D string and 10 on the G string. But what I specifically like to do, I like to add another note here, which is 9 on the A string. And this note right here is F sharp. And I like adding that because it kind of refers back to this, you know, this F sharp chord right here. So this is how the chord sounds. Now from here, the progression goes after F sharp minor, we go back to B flat, F sharp major, sorry. We go back to B flat minor. But instead of doing another power chord here, we are instead going to play the higher notes of this chord. They are 8 on the D string with your ring finger, and then with your index finger, you're gonna bar down on the 6th fret with for the G and B strings. So now next chord, we go to the C sharp major, and that is 11 on the D string, 10 on the G string, 9 on the B string. And also with your thumb, you're gonna want to mute these two strings here. We do the same muting technique for this chord also. So now we go to G sharp major. So that is 6 on the D string, 5 on the G string, 4 on the B string. And now move the same exact shape down 2 frets to hit this F sharp major. But there's an extra note that we gotta add here. We take our pinky and place it on the 4th fret of the E string to make it sound like this. Make sure you hit that high note. Now this is how the chorus sounds all together. So after we hit this F sharp major chord, we're gonna want to go to the 6th fret on the low E string and hit it in this particular pattern. And then we move on to the second verse. Now to play the second verse, remember earlier in the video I said there's gonna be a slight variation in the main riff. This is when the slight variation happens. So now instead of hitting it open, we're gonna palm mute these notes, the same exact notes that we hit before for the main riff, which are 6 on the E string, 1 on the E string, and then 6 on the A string. So we're gonna hit it in this pattern. Notice a key part here. I did not do this slide to go to restart the riff again. Instead of doing that slide, we are instead going to finish the entire 2 bars of this A string right here on the 6th fret. Now to further explain the difference, here is how it sounded earlier on in the song. It went like this. This time around, we're doing this. Now, to finish off the riff, we hit the A string on the 6th fret multiple times to lead into the chorus like so. Now you go back to the chorus, and then we'll move on to the bridge. Now to play the bridge, the chords that are used here are also present in the chorus as well. Now to refresh your memory, the B flat minor is 8 on the D string, 6 on the G string, and 6 on the B string. Then we move up to 11 on the D string, 10 on the G string, 9 on the B string. And the final chord, 9 on the A string, 11 on the D string, 10 on the G string. So to play this bridge in full, it goes like this. Notice I added 2 extra bars of this final chord here to end the bridge. So now moving on to the solo / interlude part of the song, we're going to want to have a little bit of reverb on our guitar just to add a little bit of flavor. So to start things off, put your ring finger on the 13th fret of the G string, and the index finger goes on the 11th fret of the B string. And now slide it down to the 10th fret on the G string and 9th fret on the B string. You're going to want to pause after and then do it again. And now instead of pausing a second time, you're going to want to hit the 10th fret on the G string and the 11th fret on the D string right here. Now slide your ring finger up to the 13th fret on the D string, and then you want to hit the 10th fret on the D string and 9th fret on the B string, and then slide it down to 6th fret on the G string and 6th fret on the B string. So, how does this whole solo sound? Like this. Now you're going to want to do this one more time, and then we go back into the chorus. So now to end the song, right after the last chorus, after this F sharp chord, we're going to want to take our index finger and put it on the 6th fret of the E string, then our ring finger on the 8th fret of the A string, and our pinky on the 8th fret of the D string. And this is how the strumming pattern goes. And that's to end the song. And that is guitar 1. So now moving on to the second guitar part of the song. Now, for this guitar part, you're going to want to have a much more focus on treble rather than the bass side of how the guitar sounds. So what I like to do is I like to switch which pickup I'm using to have much more focus on the higher notes, so that chords like these can sound much nicer and much twangier, and that's kind of like the sound that you want here. So to get started, the second guitar part comes in right at the drum roll, right before the very first chorus. So the second guitar part kind of like strums at the same beat of this drum roll, which is a very rapid strum. So I'll play it for you how it really goes, and then I'll play it slowly for you, and then I'll like count it in for you. So it goes like this. Very fast, right? Let's do it one more time. So slowly, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Quickly, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then quickly again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to like really practice that rhythm if you don't really have your strumming muscles down. It's a really good exercise right there. So that very first chord was actually the higher notes of the D minor shape, which was 8 on the D string, and and then 6 on the G and B strings. So after we do that very quick strum, we're just gonna like go right into the chorus. And so the chorus starts with that same chord. And then we move up to the C sharp major, which is 11 on the D string, 10 on the G string, and 9 on the B string. And now continuing on with the progression, instead of going to these high notes of the F sharp major, we're going to do a power chord version of it. So it's going to be 2 on the E string, 4 on the A string, and then 4 on the D string. And then we go to the power chord version of the B flat minor. So that's 6 on the E string, 8 on the A string, 8 on the D string. And then we move up 3 frets. So 9 on the E string, 11 on the A string, 11 on the D string. So after that, we move to the G sharp chord. So that's going to be 4 on the E string, 6 on the A string, 6 on the D string. And then back to this F sharp chord. So how does this whole thing sound? Like this. So that is the chorus for the second guitar part. Now, for the second verse of the song, the second guitar part is playing 3 chords, and that's going to be B flat minor, F minor, and D sharp minor. So, more specifically, for the B flat minor, you're going to have your index finger on the 13th fret of the A string, your ring finger on the 15th fret of the D string, pinky on the 15th fret of the G string, middle finger on the 14th fret of the B string, and on the bottom part, using the bottom part of your index finger, you're going to want to hit the 13th fret of the E string. So this is the full chord. Now for the F minor, you're going to have your ring finger on the 15th fret of the A string, pinky on the 15th fret of the D string, and now your index finger is going to bar the 13th fret of the G and B strings. So, now for the third chord, the D sharp minor, you're going to have your index finger on the 6th fret of the A string, ring finger on the 8th string of the D string, pinky on the 8th fret of the D string, of the G string, sorry, and your middle finger on the 7th fret of the B string. And using the bottom part of your index finger, you're going to want to hit the 6th fret of the high E string. So, notice what I'm doing with my hand here. I'm kind of shaking my hand to add that like shaky feeling to the notes. Adds a really nice effect to the chords. So, you're going to want to play these 3 chords twice within the second verse. So, altogether, it sounds like this. You could also add some reverb here just to give a little bit more of a washy feeling to it. So now moving on to the instrumental part of the song, we're going to want to have absolutely no distortion for this part, and we're going to want to add a lot of reverb too. So the actual notes that are being hit are very, very similar to what's going on the first guitar part, except there are some notes that are missing. So instead of having our ring finger on the 13th fret of the G string, we're just not going to do that at all. So we're only going to have our index finger on the 11th fret of the B string, and then slide it down to the 9th fret of the same string. So, pause, and then hit those 2 notes instead of pausing again. So they are 10th fret on the G string, 11th fret on the D string, and then you're going to want to slide up to the 13th fret on the D string, and then hit the 10th fret on the G string, down to the 6th fret of the G string. So this is how the whole thing sounds. So after the solo, you're going to want to quickly switch back to your distortion and then play the entire chorus again, starting with that quick strum that I explained earlier in the video. And now to end the song, after playing this power chord here, which is 2 on the E string, 4 on the A string, 4 on the D string, we're going to want to end the same way we end on the first guitar, which is 6 on the E string, 8 on the A string, and 8 on the D string, and it goes like this. Same way we end with the first guitar. And that's it. So there you have it. That's how you play I Want to Kill You by Citizen. Taz will be available in the description below. I would like to say that I do stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I play a bunch of covers and original music, so, you know, feel free to hop in the chat every once in a while, say hi, come hang out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.